What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to be painting up another one of my small laser cut wood built swim baits. Focus of today's video is going to be another bone color I picked up. I have not tried this yet. Game color Bonewhite is what it says. Let's get this out of the packaging here. So that's what it looks like in the tube compared to our last bone color that we did. Was much brighter. So curious to see what this one's going to look like. Trying to see if there's any instructions on there. It's water-based. Doesn't really say a whole lot else on there. But we're going to be painting this bait in a bone color, kind of similar to that glide bait we did several episodes ago. Now I am on a time crunch. It is currently 12:27. So the plan is at 2, my buddy Slim that you guys have seen in my videos is going to pick me up. We're going to go test out this glide bait. I've been playing around with the weight on it, and then we're also going to be swimming the other version of this bait today. We're hopefully going to catch a fish or at least get some underwater shots of it. So I got to try to knock out this paint job in an hour so that way I can get my stuff ready and the camera ready to go filming, testing out one just like this and that glide bait. So the first thing I'm going to be doing, because I want to know exactly how this color looks, and this bait, the wood colors kind of has a yellow hue to it. So what we're going to start off with is a nice base coat of opaque white. That way the wood color doesn't affect how this bone color looks. And we can be very precise with our documentation of different bone colors that we're trying. So I'm gonna get the white loaded up in the airbrush. We'll get the bait covered nice and good. And then we can come back in with that bone white and see what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this with the hairdryer and then touch up a few more spots. With the base coat of white done, I'm going to go ahead and get this loaded up in the airbrush. I do need to see though, it's got, a lot of these paints have something that keeps it from coming out. Nope, that looks like it's come straight out of there. I think I might add a little bit of reducer because that seems really thick. So we'll add a couple drops of reducer. This doesn't say on the bottle what kind, so I'm just going to use the 4011 reducer. And we'll see if that's a mistake or if that works. All right, this color looks pretty almost like sand or peach to me. So we'll see what it looks like sprayed on the bait. I'm gonna go ahead and cover everything on the bait that we just did. We'll do again in the new bone white color. So currently, I absolutely love the way this color looks. I like for the bone colors to be a little bit darker. Kind of separates it a little bit from, you know, typical shad pattern. If you watched my other video where we painted a bone colored glide bait, what I did was did a gloss top coat, and then our next step will be putting a darker layer of paint on and then wiping it off. That way the paint gets trapped in those grooves. It makes for a really kind of grungy, dirty look to it. I can go ahead and show you guys what that other glide bait looked like. So that is what we're going to shoot for on this one as well. And we're going to be using that new master airbrush that I just did videos on. I think they went out on Monday and Tuesday. It's got the 0.5 size needle and nozzle in there, so it should be able to spray this gloss top coat a little bit better. So if you want to check out those videos with the airbrush, those are up on my channel, along with how I build these glide baits. All those videos are up there if you have any questions on those. I'm going to go ahead and get the top coat loaded up in the airbrush, and we'll see if this sprays a little better. Okay, now we can move on to the next step. And if I wasn't clear, the reason for doing the top coat was because whenever I brush this next color on, it's going to kind of help keep it from covering or sticking to too much of that bone color. It's going to be kind of a dirty, grungy look, which I'm totally cool with, but having that top coat should hopefully keep most of our bone that's on the surface clean. Color we're going to be using is going to be a Wicked Colors Wicked Gray. I think last time we added black to our bone color and did a little bit more shading to it. I'm trying to keep this one really simple. That way we can see exactly what that bone color by itself looks like. And I also think last time I figured out that on my paper towel, if I add just a little bit of water to it, kind of helps pull some more of that paint off there. So I'm gonna have a damp paper towel at the ready. And like I did last time, I'm going to start right up here at the top. In case I don't like how it looks, we can backtrack a little easier. So not a huge difference there, but you can see how those scales are darker than that one. Kind of enhances the pattern a little bit. So there you can really see the difference. Side we haven't done versus the side we did. Really cool technique. Makes for very unique baits. All right, I think what I'm going to try to do is get most of the paint off the paintbrush. And we're going to try to just kind of darken up the top just a little bit and not wipe it back off. I think I got to add a little bit of paint. What do you guys think? That compared to that doesn't look a whole lot different on camera. In person though, the top looks a lot darker to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that on this side. Fellas, she's looking well worn out. This side ended up being a lot darker towards the belly there. Let's see if I can get any of that to come off. I doubt it, but worth a try. Actually, I think that did work a little bit. All right, now what I think I'm going to do is take our Bonewhite again, and we're going to selectively paint back over that gray on some of the scales. I don't know if I'm going to do a pattern with it every other one. I don't know exactly what the plan's going to be, other than we're going to try to brighten some of these back up. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of paint thinner or reducer. I think that looks pretty good. All right, I said I was gonna quit at 1:30 to get my camera stuff ready. It is 1:20, and I know I need to look for some things. So I'm gonna let this sit. We're gonna go test out those other baits, which if I get some good content, you guys will see that video as well. And then I can think about this and see what it looks like when I come back. I do think I wanna darken up or do some black on the bait as well. And it might end up brightening up some more scales over here. But I don't want to go too crazy, so I think just adding those little bit of highlights to some of those scales up top looks pretty cool. But I gotta think about it. I'll come back with some fresh eyes, and then we can get the bait finished up. Okay, folks, it is actually the next night. We ended up staying out pretty late last night, so I was a little exhausted when I got back. I will roll a couple of clips of this bait, or well, not this one, but I'm gonna roll a couple clips of what this type of bait looks like underwater. The one we're painting today is the second version of this. It ended up being way too overcast to get some really clear underwater shots of it, but you can still kind of see how the bait looks underwater. Definitely made me excited to get this one finished up, and Slim did catch one tiny fish on it. Pretty funny because I made an arrogant post on Instagram. I said, because average baits are for average fish, and then the first fish we catch was a really small dink. So pretty funny, or I thought it was pretty funny. To get this one finished up, I need to finish painting the scales, which I don't think I'm a huge fan of those white scales being on there. I do like it, but I think they stand out a little bit too much. So grab my paint brushes. What I was thinking I might try really quick, and we'll know, I guess, pretty quick here, adding some of our wicked gray spots up towards the back to see if that kind of helps balance it out or hide those a little bit more. I think they're a little too prominent, so I was going to see what it looked like if we added a couple really dark ones. Maybe it'll kind of make those not stand out quite as much. But then again, tomorrow night I might think the bright ones look good. I don't really think it matters. I can't tell if I like it or not. I think we'll go ahead and hair dry it. We'll add our bone yellow spots to the other side. I do plan on shading this with a little bit of black, so maybe that's what we need. Okay, I think I'm going to call it good there with the spots. I'm still kind of torn. I look at it and it looks really cool, and then I look away and I look back and then I don't like it. I bet you once the clear coat goes on, that'll probably change things. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to load up some transparent black into the airbrush, and then I'm going to go in and do some shading kind of on the back side of the gill plate. Probably around the eyes just a little bit, a hair on the back, and then we might do a little bit of shading down here on these gills. See where that gets us, figure out if the bait needs more or if it is done. Really digging the way this looks. I'm gonna go for a little more shading up here where the mouth is. Nice. Okay. Let's hopefully repeat that on this side. Airbrush don't get away from me, and we can end up with a really clean shading here. And I'm gonna go ahead and lightly darken up the back of the bait. And I think whenever I pull this apart, we'll do some gray on the inside of there. Kind of paint it on and wipe it off. That way that part matches. Man, I'm actually really starting to fall in love with the way this looks. I think we're gonna not do a kill dot this time, unless we put it down here. Should I put a shad dot way back there? Couple things I'm really thinking about. Shading these lines on the fin, and then doing like a shad dot back there. But maybe since this one looks so good, I think we'll just leave this one alone. I think that's what I should do. Then you guys can let me know on the next one. I got 2 more of these I'm working on. Should I do, and I really, really like this bone color. So what do you guys think? Shad dot back here, kind of in a weird spot? I don't know.